It has been deemed that anything not good for you is bad, hence illegal.
I will make it illegal.
If the dirty air don't get you, the politicians will.
The Scourge of Tyranny, champion of real liberty, triggering commies from the booth. They melt down at the sound of truth. I am the Scourge of Tyranny. If you oppose freedom, you are my enemy. I am the Scourge of Tyranny. If you oppose freedom, you are my enemy.
Welcome to Scourge of Tyranny Live. I am your host, Tim. I am the culture war realist, rational individualist. I'm the no compromise anti-communist. I'm the hierarchy dominator. I cite history with validity. I've got the hot takes for the bot fakes. And most importantly, I am never a victim. Welcome to the premier channel when it comes to the maximization of practical liberty and the destruction of everyday tyranny. Hit the like button, guys. Share the link out there on all platforms. Let people know that Scourge of Tyranny Live on Sunday night is live. On multiple platforms, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, we're on Kick, and we're on Odyssey. So make sure you're hitting the like button and sharing the link on all those platforms. If you're a regular, if you're a member, if you're a subscriber, even if you're just a follower, make sure you're sharing the link out there and spreading the news that we're live and just spreading the news in general, because that's what we do here. So tonight, we are not using Rumble Studio. We're going to go ahead and just use the normal method so we can highlight comments from Rumble. Maybe in 2 weeks from now, back when we're in the creator program, we won't be able to do it again, but we're looking for a solution to that long term. Over on the YouTube side, earlier this evening, we had super member Gabriel Knight saying, "A trigger and commies." Thanks for being here, Gabriel, super member and member of the team. We got Jim Satala in the house, making sure he's going to do this. Hit the like button and share the link. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for all the raids and all the support. King Chris is over there on the YouTube side saying howdy, spacers, because guess what, guys? We say howdy here. We got Star Wars Marvel Purist on the Rumble side with all the emojis. We got to get some custom ones going on this channel very soon. Like and repost. Absolutely. Let's get it out. You guys remember MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge? Steezo, for life, is over there on the YouTube side saying howdy. We got King Chris on Rumble as well. Thanks for being on both platforms, guys. And right out of the gate, we got a $20 Rumble rant from King Chris, super member and mod extraordinaire with the USA flag emoji. Thank you so much, Chris, for the support, and thanks for showing up every single week and unselfishly modding for us and making sure that the chat is a safe space for everyone. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for doing that. We got to find something to play for that. Hey, we got to do some 3D. I love some 3D, some Saigon here. Thanks again, Chris. Appreciate the support and all the work that you do in the chat. King Chris is loving the Scourge of Tyranny standby tonight. We got some JT the Bigga Figga. We got some White Zombie and some AC/DC. There it is. Over on the Rumble side, Jim has rated the stream. Thank you so much, Jim. Everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I know Jim has rated several times. Make sure you're following. Make sure you share the stream out there and stick around because we're going to have some fun. We're going to have an abbreviated stream tonight. Quite frankly, went almost 4 hours the last couple of weeks, and I've been dead Monday morning for work. So we've got to get this over with. But we're still going to have some fun. Mike C., the Scout, is over there on the YouTube side. What's going on, Mike? Salty C411 with the Gym Raid. Welcome. Hit the follow button. Jay Schwartz coming over from Jim. We've got Dalu8738 on the YouTube side. It required a button push, barely automatic. Got it. Dan Blackroyd, a.k.a. Liquid Blake, future panelist tonight, is in the chat on the YouTube side. We got Renee Collins, 1096. Thanks again on the YouTube side as well for a raid, Jim. And sometime in the next week, 2 weeks, I'm going to try and go on Jim's stream, and we're going to have him on ours in the next couple of weeks as well. I don't know when I'm going to do a Sentience Watch and Tactics SWAT sometime in the next few weeks. Lots of AI topics going on. But we always have Scourge of Tyranny. And again, we're going to alter stuff up and do an abbreviated SOT stream. And then, you know, some retro conversation about television, movies, stuff like that. And there's the streamers link. Or actually, that's the Rumble link to all my channels. But I also have a streamers link. Pretty cool website where you can put all the links to your social media platforms. We got Jonathan Marcus with the Gym Raid. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. That's Good Robot. Crossing the streams. Yeah. It's good sometimes, right? It's not always bad to cross the streams. For sure. But yeah, guys, make sure you hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that repost button on the Rumble side. And since we're going to try and make this an abbreviated stream tonight, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what we're going to get into. All right, so tonight, once again, I think this is 3, maybe 4 streams in a row. We're going to talk about Mamdani. What's the latest on him? What is he doing to progress his communist agenda? We're going to look into that. Not sure if you guys saw it or not. And then kind of on the flip side of the coin, we're going to look at Trump and the stories from the media on him. And why aren't they talking about Mamdani in the same way? Two sides of the same coin, guys. Abbreviated segments tonight. We are going to do Freedom Funnies. If you forgot to send them in, make sure you DM them to me on X preferably. Memes or political cartoons. Edgy ones, videos, whatever you have. I got a few that we're going to take a look at toward the end of the stream, toward the middle of the stream. We're going to lighten it up. And then we're going to do Spaced or Based. And right after that, I'm going to ask Greg throughout the rest of the stream, the beginning up until the news segment, to hold all of his rants because we've got the Procurator of Justice coming on after Spaced or Based. You want to hear Greg get angry, then make sure you stick around for that. That's what's going on tonight. in the abbreviated Scourge of Tyranny stream, guys. This is your Friday night. Got it. Streamers link, thank you very much. King Chris, pretty cool website. If you're a creator and you're not using it, you need to be using it. Mike C says the media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. Yeah, we're kind of going to get into that later on one of the topics. So make sure you stick around. Definitely going to get into that. All right. Let me go ahead and send the link out so we have that. Let's get into the first topic, though. Let's just jump headlong into it, shall we? So you got the Guardian here. He's contraction, a war criminal, Mamdani, exploring whether he can arrest Netanyahu if he visits New York. New York City mayor says in Times interview that he's in active conversation with city's law department about the matter. We do have some video on this we're going to watch in a minute. But again, last week we talked about him canceling a meeting he was going to have with Iran. So you've got the mayor of New York City acting like he's the president. He's going to meet with Iran, and now he wants to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel. This guy is exceeding his authority. Imagine if this were somehow a Republican had won the New York City mayoral election and became mayor of New York City, and he were talking about this kind of stuff like, hey, the premier of China is going to come over to New York City, United Nations, and I'm going to arrest him. Imagine the media's reaction if that happened. You can imagine it. You can see them saying that. This guy has plans. He has plans to try and ride this time in office as mayor of New York City into the White House. And if you thought Obama was bad because of his ideology, you think Biden was bad because of his retardation and the people controlling him, imagine this guy in the White House. Just imagine it. Yeah, I know. What's your point? They would never catch him in the tunnels. All right. Good deal. We already got somebody in the back. Let's go ahead and bring him on in.
We don't serve their kind here.
And we have with us the Grand High Priest, Holy Order of Hate, Greg. Good evening. While Greg gets his microphone working, I'll just say this. Imagine never seeing any of our streams and logging into a political live stream and seeing that intro. You're like, what the fuck is that intro about, right? Like, who is this guy and what are these references? I could never stitch them together. Hey, Grok or hey, Chat GPT, what does this intro mean? It would never figure it out. 10,000 monkeys on typewriters would never figure it out.
Yeah,
that's
like
how unique
the
that
assortment of things. Like, what the hell does Kira Nerys have to do with motorcycles?
Yeah. And John China.
and China and all this other stuff. And just things I hate,
So have you been keeping up on this? Like Mamdani, we're gonna watch the video in a minute here, but I gotta ask you, have you seen what he said specifically about Netanyahu visiting and a potential arrest?
I've heard news stories referencing it. I haven't really dug into it.
Yeah, earlier today when I was prepping the stream, like, I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning my time, I couldn't believe it because we had the Iran thing. Yeah, I had to cancel a meeting with Iran. It's like, wait a minute, you're meeting with Iran. You're talking about arresting heads of states. Like, what the fuck are you doing as mayor of New York? This guy, this guy has plans.
The power of diplomatic relations is vested solely in the executive of the federal government.
Correct. Exactly.
Congress
correct.
and the Senate specifically can give its blessings to treaties, which then become effectively laws. However, when it comes to diplomatic relations, the president has plenary authority on this. And to suggest that a mayor could arrest a sitting prime minister of a foreign country in the United States whose presence here is related to diplomatic relations, because unfortunately the UN is hosted where? New York City.
New York City, yeah.
But of all the bastards that go and talk in the UN, like, that's going to be the one that we're going to try and usurp federal authority on? Nah. Here's what the federal government should immediately do. Revoke his naturalization and throw his ass back in Uganda immediately. And take his bastard two fucking parents with him. Sorry.
Yeah.
You don't get to be here anymore. Bye-bye.
I'm telling you, we've been talking about this for several weeks. Like, what are we going to do
and then
about
bomb
this
Uganda
guy?
just for the fuck of it.
And it's not because we are afraid of this guy because we think his ideology will catch traction legitimately. We think it's because the voter base currently is such shit that they'll vote for a piece of garbage like this just because he offers them free shit, right? That's the danger that we have here. The electorate in the United States at every level is composed of people who will vote for the person that promises to give them the most and take away, to redistribute from the people who actually create the wealth and the value. That's the scary part of a guy like this. It's not that, oh man, he may make some good points and win legitimately. It's like, no, he knows what he's doing. People in New York City, you know how the politics are there. They're going to buy right into this stuff. That's the scary part of it. And he's subverting the U.S. Constitution. He's subverting 250 years of history, of tradition, of law. Let me just put it that way. Well, we got the video.
I kind of want him to do it and then Trump to declare martial law in New York City and just run it, just fill the fucking streets with armed troops.
Yes. All right. First up, we've got, this is NBC New York. You should be able to hear this. So here we go.
In a new interview with the New York Times, Mayor Zoran Mamdani does not rule out trying to have Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrested if he comes to the city during the UN General Assembly in September.
Look, I believe that Prime Minister Netanyahu belongs in The Hague. He's...
And what is The Hague, Greg?
You want the definition or my opinion of it?
No, why is he saying that? Yeah, good question. But that's the International Criminal Court.
The International
resides.
Criminal Court sham, of which we are not a participating member.
Correct.
Specifically, we have chosen as a country not to be a member state, they have absolutely zero power and authority over the U.S. or its citizens.
You know, this is a perfect pause, by the way. Like, you brought up
Smarmy
his
little fuck.
exactly his smug expression that this fuck always has. Just, he's one of those kids who was told his entire life, hey, you won the 7th grade spelling bee. You're so smart. You're so great. You can do no wrong. Zoran, go out there and become mayor of New York City. Become the president. You're so fantastic and wonderful.
Yeah, you're a failed rich kid, failed rapper. I mean, a successful rich kid in that you inherited a lot of money from your parents. Your career prior to politics is a failed rapper.
Yeah.
That's his path to executive power in the city of New York. But I'm sure it has nothing to do with it. You just promised everybody free shit.
Free shit. Yeah, and you're exactly right, Mike. Like, so many our-siders are becoming willing dimmies, and I love the fact that Mike is using the D word out there. We're kind of spreading the word about the realities of Islam. Save it until the end. Yeah. Hey, I had that a macro ready for that. Save it till the end. But let's keep going here.
Has been charged by the International Criminal Court. I've also said that I will follow the laws that we have here in New York City because I believe that there's an importance in following the law as a leader who presides over our city, and that's something that I plan to do.
What does the
So I'd be interested in looking at every law on the book in New York City and telling him to put his money where his mouth is.
What gives New York City the right to seize federal power?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of curious. I'd be like, well, like states like Texas can't build their own border walls according to the courts, but states can arrest heads of state on diplomatic visits. Okay.
Yeah, and again, let's look at every law in the books. I bet you there's some laws on the books that say to deport illegal aliens, not to shelter them. I mean, New York City is an old-ass
Don't
city.
put them up in hotels. Yeah.
It's got a lot of laws on the books. Let's look at all of them. But no, let's pick and choose. Let's cherry pick the laws that we want to enforce. Like arresting the heads of state for supposedly committing war crimes. Wait a minute. Tell me if I'm wrong, Greg, but in the past, haven't they had their supposed heads of state visiting the UN in the past?
Yeah,
Look at the shit that they do.
The time, multiple times. Yeah.
Exactly. What was that fuck's name back like during the Bush administration? Kofi Annan.
Yep.
And I remember they had some kind of panel on Palestine. We got to do the air quotes every time. Look for my bunny rabbit fingers. And they had this panel. They were sitting at a table and they had a map on an easel. And the map was of Israel, but they had an old map from, like 100 years ago that had Palestine on the map.
Well, I mean, the left loves its little rhymes and stuff like that. And I just say, from sea to shining sea, the U.S. should be Palestinian free.
Yep.
Deport
Good
every
point.
one of them.
Let's keep going here.
law allow you to do?
That's an active conversation with our legal department in seeing what the prospects are we have here in our municipality.
So he's already checked. He's already checked with the New York City Legal
It's a
Department
virtue
to
signal.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if he doesn't do anything, again, you've got all the idiots that vote for him, and more importantly, the idiots who donate to his campaigns and his operations, his own political operations, right? Those people, as long as he's virtue signaling, saying, hey, I'm open to doing it, that might explain some of his smug grin that entire time, because he knows that he can't do it. But I'm going to end this with something in a few minutes here when we move on to another story. And it'll kind of explain my feelings on the matter. New York is most diverse state. Yeah, I believe it. And they're old, big city. Just the city itself is bigger than some states, right? population wise, definitely population wise. There are some states that are probably 100 times the volume that have only a fifth of the people. That's how big New York City is. It's old. It has a lot of laws on the books. But this fuck is going to pick and choose which laws he wants to enforce. Let's see what else this
There
particular
just can't
story
possibly be a law where
note that several
they could assert jurisdiction over an Israeli citizen for crimes committed somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what jurisdictional rights are you asserting?
Yeah. We'll find out.
Former prosecutors say if Mayor Mamdani or any New York police official tried to arrest Netanyahu based on an ICC warrant, it would be a violation of U.S. federal law. And they themselves.
Well, there you go. There's the justification, like you said earlier, for flooding the streets and martial law with federal troops. Hope he tries it so he can be deported for prosecuting for kidnapping. Yeah. But we have somebody else with some thoughts on the matter here. Let me show you guys who this is. Can you guess who it is, Greg?
Nope.
Okay, you're going to love this. All right, let's listen to what Federer says about it.
UNGA, which is happening.
By the way, like, Maria Bartiromo, is that her name?
I have no idea.
Yeah, total, like, gilf chubby here is what I'm getting from her. Always have.
In
Well,
September.
you know what
What are
it
your
is?
thoughts?
She's like rocking like the 80s bang and kind of like that bang wall look.
Yep. And she's got really sexy eyes, too.
Here on Mamdani threatening to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to the U.S.
That voice though, that's a killer.
Yeah.
What is such a tough guy to say that kind of thing? He has no way to do that.
Tough
of course,
guy.
Obviously, America's not even part of that corrupt court, and
As you mentioned earlier, not part of the corrupt court.
so he's just a clown to even say that. So
He's a clown.
he won't try that, and I'll just sit down and focus on the problems that they have in New York. That's really not your purview. You and I know that. Sit down.
And
Yeah, so I think he realizes what he's doing as well. Isn't it crazy how, I don't know, a year and a half ago, Fetterman just started talking all
What
this
happened
shit?
to this guy? Like,
Yeah. I think he got in there and realized how corrupt and fucked up it was and just said, fuck it, I'm going to just start talking shit and speaking the truth.
I think he just kind of grounded like, you guys are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit, you guys are batshit fucking crazy.
Is she Topanga? No. No, but Topanga looks pretty good now. I've seen her recently on Instagram. For sure. But yeah, this is, again, guys, I feel like, hey, wait a minute, is that James Brown next to Mamdani there? It's,
Fuck.
that looks like living in America. But in any event, yeah, we're probably going to have to come up with the Mamdani segment because he's come up every single week because I go to the news and he's done something stupid again every single week. We may have to have a dedicated segment like a Mamdani alert or update or some shit like that.
So what it is this is just basic politics for him, right? This is playbook 101 stuff. You got to promise the world you're going to give all your people free shit and it's going to be a utopian paradise in your city if you get elected. And then you actually get elected and you actually have to start paying bills and shit. And, all the laborers that work for your city are union guys that supported you. And they're like, no, we're not going to take a pay cut, asshole. You're not cutting our pension, you fucker. Like, no way. And so, the free buses, all that stuff disappears. And so now he has to just resort to spectacle. And this is the only way he can kind of distract from the fact that he's not going to be able to deliver on any of his promises, which for the long run of New York is a good thing. But
Yeah,
I mean, like, just
exactly.
the threat of what he wants to do is driving enough people out But still, he's just got to resort to the spectacle stuff, and he's got to throw red meat to the base, his base, and his base is a la good.
Yeah, good point. Got Melissa Lord over there on the Rumble side. Haven't seen you in a while, Melissa. How's it going? All right, so that's what we've got going on with Mamdani. And again, the coverage on this, it's almost neutral. None of the mainstream outlets are necessarily criticizing it. Now, some of them may be throwing it out there and letting you decide for yourself, but I haven't really seen any criticism. Now, on the flip side,
he's good for ratings for either side. So that's part of the problem with.
Oh yeah, you're exactly right. He's got the outrage response from the right,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's got the rallying call of the social democrats from the left.
Yeah, he's good clicks either way. It's kind of like AOC was, good clicks either way. They love him. We love to hate him.
Precisely. But on the flip side, you got media coverage of the president of the United States as well. And I'm sitting there looking at the news this morning, all these different stories, 4 or 5 different stories, and I got a couple of them pulled up here, and they're trying to paint Trump as being this tyrant. Hey, look, he's trying to control the media. Have you read up on this one? Trump's threats to revoke TV licenses get serious. So I guess what happened is...
I wish.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying. That's what Bannon said. Like, just do it. After this guy here, head of the FCC.
There's no reason that bandwidth, which is a public resource, right? Because you can't have multiple entities operating on the same frequency in a war where just the person who blasts the signal out the strongest locally wins. That's not productive. But there's no justifiable reason for the bandwidth that terrestrial TV is using up right now to have it. It'd be better off going to any other use, via data or mobile or whatever.
We got this guy here.
They should all be revoked. Terrestrial TV should be eliminated.
We got this guy here, head of the FCC, and he put a letter out there saying, hey, we may start revoking these. There's always been a lot of tension between stations that the networks own and the networks because they kind of feel pressured. Even the ones they don't own, they feel pressured into doing certain things, lest the networks withhold certain content and they're cut of the money, stuff like that. So what happened? Well, that speech that Trump made on elections, not all the big networks aired it. So then
none of them did.
Carr released the letter saying all this, and now suddenly it's, oh no, it's the president's the executive is trying to control the media through these threats. And he's a tyrant and he's horrible and it's a First Amendment violation and all this other stuff. Let me tell you guys something. We've covered this before. For decades, the mainstream media was in control of elections because not just the information they did share, but because of what they didn't share, the stuff that they cut out. You didn't have an internet in the 60s, 70s, 80s to get the real information. Now we have it, right? That's why I'm always shocked that the 84 election went the way it did. But I think it was just because there was a lot of sympathy for Reagan and he had been so successful at that point. But imagine the 2016 election taking place in 1984. It would have been a slam dunk as that idiot, what was he, a pundit, when he used to come to my place of employment every year and speak. He told us in October of that year, 2016, it's going to be a slam dunk for Hillary. And it wasn't. And when he came back the next year, he looked like a complete idiot. He didn't come until December, and it's like he had to eat his own shoe. But just imagine the control of the media in 2016 without the internet. So for decades, the media has controlled the narrative. So suddenly you want to try and offset that a little bit. You want to do anything, and it's a First Amendment violation. Tell me why that's wrong, Greg.
Because again, like they're not being restricted as far as what they can say. They are the law that allows them to use the frequencies that they're using requires them that they perform a public service, because the license fee for a broadcast channel, I just looked this up. The broadcast license fee is roughly 0.6957 cents per person served in the coverage area, which is minuscule. And so basically they are allowed to use these frequencies. And the bargain that was made for them to be allowed to use these frequencies was that they had to perform some sort of public service. They have to have the news programs, or they have to be a public good in their community. Otherwise, why should they get the license over somebody else? Because it's restricted. You can only have so many people operating on a certain frequency. And it's not a violation of the First Amendment, just in the same way that if they would say the federal government has a deal, but only certain newspapers have a license to deliver to your house. And then you say, well, we're going to take that license away because your newspaper's a rag. That's how I view it. Like I said, I don't think that because of modern technology, I don't think there's a justifiable reason that they have any frequencies at all.
Well, yeah, I was thinking about that when I was reading this story earlier today. Remember that movie with what's his name, Christian Slater, called Pump Up the Volume?
Yeah.
Where he's like a pirate. Why can't he go on the air? You know what I mean? It's like, where's his access at? Well, that was before the advent of the internet. So now you kind of have the internet where you can make your voice known. But back then, it's like, nah, you had the three bigs, and then you had radio. We talked about Rush, I think, last week or the week before last, just his existence being the balance, because he was out there with a different point of view, and then they try to go after him with the fairness doctrine and all that crap. It's like, dude, look at the overall internet or the overall news networks in the 60s, 70s, 80s. If you look at that, it's 98% positive coverage for the Democrat Party. Oh, no, they're neutral. That's how they always spun it, as they're not biased. They're just neutral. It just seems like they're biased for the Democrat Party, where we saw,
well, I mean, if Obama
that they
wanted the speech, do you think they would have aired it?
Yeah, exactly.
They would have. Biden, they would have aired it. The difference here is that they got wind that he might be talking some election stuff, and they're like, oh no, we're not going to do that.
They got to bring up Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah, they got to bring up Jimmy Kimmel. Again, not a First Amendment case, but if Obama was in office, if any Democrat was in office, hell, if Mayor Mamdani wanted to give a national address, they would have. And here's the thing, they can't even argue that, like, hey, it's interrupting vital and very important economic activity for our channel. We don't want to preempt our premium programming because the president's choosing to go, he wants to do a live address during the Super Bowl or some shit, right? It's the middle of fucking summer rerun reality TV season. I think like one of the channels was airing like a documentary about a nature documentary that's narrated by like Tom Hanks. This is not premium programming that they were disrupting. They chose not to carry the president's address based on their partisan biases. The response is nonpartisan. It's just like, hey, you guys are being partisan, therefore we don't think you deserve your license.
They act like it's G.I. Joe
anyway.
They act like it's G.I. Joe cartoons in the 80s where Cobra Commander would like interrupt television to make some kind of threat or something. That's what they act like this is. That's one of the first things I thought of. It's
and
like
honestly,
it's your
I thought
own
it was kind
damn
of like
networks.
I listened to the speech and I was just like, nothing I didn't really know.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing. I've said this for at least a couple of years. If you're not using the same tools that the enemy's using, then you're going to lose the war, right? So if they're over there using media bias, they're leaving out stories, they're not airing certain speeches, they're not getting the word out from both sides, then yeah, use every legal means you have to fight back against the other side.
I mean, I would
Pull
respond
the licenses.
even more boldly, like, oh, you think this is being tyrannical? Here's what I'm going to do. New executive order number, whatever number it is, 4321, forbidding the post office to carry and deliver ballots.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a federal agency. He's the chief executive. Unless there's specific laws saying that the post office can't discriminate based on content of the mail, which I'm pretty sure it already has rules that it does, but it may have like specific conduct rules. Like it can't be like lewd or whatever, or if it's lewd, it has to be packaged in a certain way. But that would be a funny challenge. It'd be like, oh well, you're not going to pass the SAVE Act. I'll just stop the post office from taking ballots. We just won't deliver them ever.
I'll do you one better. The post office wouldn't exist.
Well, yeah, yes.
Over on the Rumble side, we've got a gifted subscription from SWA223, longtime supporter at this point, and it looks like Nix got the subscription. Thank you very much, SWA223, big time supporter. Let's see what we have here for that. What's that?
Good old McCloskeys, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about them about 3-4 weeks ago.
Yep.
To rise above monsters, we have to abandon our humanity. That's what I believe. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if you're going to try and stand on some kind of principle, you're going to lose every time. There's not some mystical force that says, hey, you're playing by the rules. You're being moral, thus you're going to win. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe in God, but all I'm saying is the tools are out there. They're using them against you. You have to use them back. That's all there is.
You have to wield political power when you have it.
Yes. And the Republican Party,
because they will.
The past 3 decades have not done so. I'd say the last 2.5.
Not nearly as effective. And part of it is simply because, like, when it comes to a lot of the policy things that Republicans want to do, it requires 60 votes.
You're right. Sorry.
From the beginning.
Yeah. I'm laughing at this comment.
Yeah, I saw it.
That's actually pretty good. I heard that movie's horrible. I've read like
John
synopses of it.
His dad ruined the post office.
And what did John Kasich ruin?
Ohio.
Yeah, there you go.
Guarantee he didn't ruin his wife's cunt.
His boyfriends, maybe.
Yeah.
When they go low, we go high. How else can we carpet bomb? Boom! There it is. We got to save that quote, Greg. Remember that one from Charles Coe, 7413. That's good. All right, so the next story where they're trying to paint Trump as this tyrant exceeding his authority, but not Mamdani. Mamdani's not doing that. What to know about Trump administration's claim that 250,000 non-citizens are registered to vote in 4 states. So you scroll, words at CBS News, words. And then you get to it at some point. Where's it at? I should have highlighted it, but it's in here somewhere. Here it is. That means the 250,000 non-citizens the Trump administration claims are registered to vote in Nevada, California, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania are roughly 0.1% of all registered voters nationwide. The figure represents 0.6% of the nearly 40 million people who were registered to vote across the 4 states in question in 2024. So, do you hear what they said? It's less than 1%. Who cares? There's no reason to get these illegals out of here so they can't vote. There's no reason to take any action against illegal voting, Greg. Don't you agree at those statistics?
Yeah, boy, that's a little bit different than, oh, it's not happening.
Yeah. Exactly. And you have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get to those figures. And here's the thing.
Okay, and the only one in that group of 4 that I would give any weight to would be Pennsylvania, because the rest of them, those states are so slanted, typically in one direction. Now Nevada, a little bit different with when Trump's on the ballot. But those states are so slanted left that like the need to push unregistered voter or non-citizen voters to the polls is not there like it would be in my state, where 30,000 votes can make the difference in all the electors. You know, the margin in some of these states. And I mean, the thing is like the SAVE Act, and you know, we get into the weeds about the illegal aliens, and like, yes, they shouldn't be allowed to vote. Well, one, they shouldn't be here. That's the bigger problem. Fuck voting. They should just be here. But the bigger issue is mail-in ballots. You know, not going to move the needle until we get rid of mail-in ballots. And the reason mail-in ballots need to go away is because there needs to be a person who is casting a vote needs to make an affirmative, assertive decision to participate in the election. When they are being, even if they are being legitimately filled out by the resident whose name is on the ballot, which I question in a lot of cases in ballot harvest states, the bigger issue is like, are they being coerced? Are they being lied to? Are they being pressured to participate when they have no information and otherwise have no will to participate in the election? These are the last people on earth that should have a say in anything. They should not participate because they don't. You need to take affirmative action to participate in the elections. That's a bare minimum requirement. And until voters are returned to that status, you know, minus obviously, you know, soldiers serving overseas and people who have disabilities and stuff like that, sure, we'll give them some sort of alternative. But mass mailing of voter ballots, no, until that practice is gotten rid of, like, elections are not legit because they're not being, the people participating in them aren't really participating. They're being coerced over a period of months in some cases.
Did you just use the term affirmative action in a rant about voter registration and eligibility? I just heard you say affirmative action. That's what got us here, Greg. Come on. Nixie Nick says, even if they aren't here, Uokava fraud can still affect outcome. Yeah, here's the thing. Mail-in ballots are ripe ground for fraud. Just think about it. Hey, it came in the mail. It's got to be legitimate, right? Ripe ground for it. Melissa Lord on the Rumble side says, I'm prior service army. I don't want to wait in line. Well, understandably so.
The thing is like, so, okay. I mentioned I'm sorry I had to cut out there because my mic permissions expired on my browser.
That's weird.
I hate that. You can take affirmative action to vote by participating in-person early voting. So in my municipality where I live, I can vote early in elections, but I have to, in order to do that, I don't mail in my ballot. I go to the clerk's office and I fill the ballot out there and I submit it there in person after they check my ID. That would be an affirmative, intentional act to participate in the voting process.
Here's what's hilarious, and I meant to bring this up, I think, last week, but I didn't. So here's the logic or lack thereof of the Democrat Party. Hey, my constituents are too mentally retarded to be able to get their hands on a state ID or driver's license to vote, but they are smart enough to know how to take a postcard, put a stamp on it, and put it in this blue thing called a mailbox and send it in. That's what they want us to believe about their own constituents.
Yeah, and
unbelievable.
It isn't even about the ID. I mean, ID. I think an ID check is an important safeguard, but again, like the big ticket item is the elimination of the mail-in ballots, because again,
agreed.
It gives that voter turnout, quote unquote, turnout edge to people who have no skin in the game and have no knowledge. They're just being coerced by door-to-door harassers to fill out a ballot.
Or outside of a grocery store.
Yeah.
At like a folding table set up, yeah.
And that's, again, even the ones that are actually filling out the ballots. And I do not doubt for 1 second that on a large scale, a lot of these mail-in ballots are being filled out by a third parties on behalf of the other person who has no knowledge that they even voted in the election.
Melissa says, but to get my vote by mail, I had to go to the Jacksonville Social Security office and show my photo ID, Social Security card, and birth certificate.
Okay.
And you did as a member of the U.S. military, but I doubt everyone has to do that, especially in.
And
some
I would
other
say
states.
that even in that case, I would say that, barring an active war zone, I would say that I would even restrict it where they can vote on base in person to a MP or selected individual who would be in charge of then distributing or moving the ballots to the proper destination.
Yeah.
Which
Michigan
which would require the same level of trust as you simply giving it to the, your base mail person to deliver as well.
Yeah. Michigan has law that overseas ballots can be sent to Michigan even if you have never lived there. Huh.
I don't know how that's legal, because how are you a resident of Michigan and able to participate in Michigan elections if you don't live there?
Right.
Like, I get that you have to be domiciled somewhere. And I know that has been a big word, especially with that recent Supreme Court case, but like, it matters, because right in that 14th Amendment is you are a citizen of the state in which you reside. Meaning that if you have to live there to be a citizen there, like, you can't just like, well, you know what? This year I'm going to vote in Georgia's election, so I'm just going to mail my ballot for Georgia.
Well, I don't have any intimate knowledge of this Michigan law, but I can guess ridiculous. It's something along the lines of, oh, I'm vacationing in Paris. I can't miss the election. I'm going to send it in. And hey, Michigan is nice enough to take it because they don't want me to be excluded from the democratic process. That's going to be my guess. But we'll have to look that up and confirm that that's the reasoning for such a stupid law.
Why should you get to vote for that person's, like, what district is it going to? Can you vote in, is it just for senator and like president, or like, do you get to vote for the alderman in a city you've never even been to?
Right, right.
And vote for there's a ballot referendum to bond $300 gazillion for the worthless school district? Sure, I'll vote yes. I'm not paying property taxes there. I want to know how the logistics of that work. And I think even in the case of like I said, military things, there definitely could be some reforms. And then you also have to understand that in the world, in the scheme of mail-in balloting or mail-in voting, there's 2 degrees. So you have the one where you can request a ballot, which means you have to go through some sort of process, and that ballot is given to you because you took some affirmative action to get the ballot in the first place. What's happening in these states is that they're just mailing it to every single fucking person who's ever have listed for that address, going back however many years, who's also registered. So, I mean, it could be like that person registered to vote in, apartment 22 on, at 123, Gay Bathhouse Avenue, San Francisco. and be like, well, you lived there. That person by that name lived there and registered there, sometime in 1984. We're going to send him the ballot. We're going to send a ballot in his name to that address. And, that guy died of AIDS in 1986, but we're going to still send the ballot there because we didn't clean up our voter rolls. So anybody who gets that ballot can then just say, well, that's me, and fill it out, right? That person didn't take an affirmative action because he couldn't, because he died of AIDS, but you know what I mean? So there's a difference.
Yeah, so folks, everything Greg's talking about here and everything we've been talking about for the past 10 or 15 minutes tells you that election process reform is needed. Like, how do you ensure the integrity of your elections? If you question it, like POTUS has, suddenly you're the bad guy for daring to suggest that elections in the United States of America, the most powerful country in the world, are not legitimate, is offensive.
Well, I think from a
listen to us talk about it, guys. There are problems here, and they need to get solved.
Absolutely. I think the way that like people are pushing the SAVE Act, I wish the focus would be a little less on the illegal immigrant issue, and a little bit more on the ballot security and mass mail-in ballots thing. And you can sell it as very easy. Like, look, imagine your elderly parents, who you're very worried about, keep getting harassed like every other day by people who are asking about filling in their ballots. Like, and door to door, like for freaking 3 weeks straight, they come knocking on their door, and it's political activity. So it's very difficult to restrict that, right? Political canvassing activity is very protected. And, your little old mom is just being basically harangued and badgered into filling out a ballot that she otherwise wouldn't fill out, that she's not interested in. But now she fills it out because she just feels like they won't leave her alone until she fucking does and hands it to them. Like, is that the kind of ballot that we want deciding our elections? And what's happening. People people understand. Like, they look at these crazy lunatics and they're like, yeah, I could see them definitely using coercive, harassing, or threatening tactics to get people to fill in a ballot. What do you mean you're not going to fill out a ballot? All your neighbors filled out a ballot. You don't want all your neighbors to know that you're not participating. Like, any one of those little lines to get people to just fill out the ballot. And they're going to houses that they've done the analytics on. They know that if they can get them to fill out the ballot, it's probably going to be, it's probability wise much more likely that they're going to fill it out in a particular direction, because they have access to their own registration data. They know that, your mom is a registered Democrat because 30 years ago, she voted for Mondale. 30 years ago. A little bit more than 30 years now ago. 50.
Yeah, no shit.
40 years ago, she voted for Mondale.
42, yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And she hasn't voted since, but like, she's a registered Democrat. She's in the database, so they're gonna go harass her until she fills out a fucking ballot. And that's the kind of shit that, like, that's the stuff you want to. That's an easy message, and that's something that's easy to stop. That's why we don't want to do mass balloting. We don't want to just spam out a bunch of fucking ballots, blank ballots for people to fill out, because we don't know who's filling them out, and we don't know the circumstances surrounding them when they're being filled out. Because, like, when you go to a polling place, there's all sorts of laws, right, about political activity around the polling place, right, to stop people from feeling threatened to vote a particular way or turn around and not vote at all because they feel unwelcome or threatened by their presence, right? We have those laws on the books for polling places, but what if the polling place is your mom's house? No rules. None. She'd have to videotape and submit it. And what's going to happen then? Oh, it was just a rambunctious, overzealous contributor. We fired him.
Yep.
That you know, and they'll slap the person on the wrist with a misdemeanor. It'll probably get dismissed. The judge will dismiss it or whatever, and off they go.
Yeah, this is a problem. But apparently talking about it makes you a tyrant.
Yeah.
SWA223 with another gifted subscription, and it looks like Wild Arms 420 got it. Thank you very much, SWA223. Let's see what we got here. We talked about Mamdani earlier.
Yes, thanks for calling and not reversing the charges. Yes, bye. Shithead.
Appreciate it, SWA223. Durka. Actually, that was Durka22 that gifted the membership. My bad. So we got to play something else for that, just, to be respectful here. I feel like some saxophone. What about you, Greg? Oh gosh, what a asshole that guy is.
Yeah, it's actually gotten worse with age.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So here's another thing that Trump is doing bad. ICE, right? 1 week, 2 killings. Trump's immigration crackdown turns deadly again. And I've seen this all over the news. They're being killed. Oh no, what are we going to do? Well, why don't you guys look at how many people law enforcement in general kills on a weekly basis, right?
Mm-hmm.
It happens a lot, but guess what? Since it's ICE, we have to really highlight it and talk about it and have these headlines that are in huge typefaces. So what do you think about this? Like the fact that ICE has killed, like, I guess, high profile, maybe 5 or 6 people at this point. High profile.
I feel pretty good about it.
I knew you would.
But I mean, I will say that, like, the conclusion that they want us to draw with this kind of campaign is, like, all laws can be nullified if the people violating them resist to the point where they end up getting shot and killed by the officers. Like, so, I mean, I guess, like, if a drug dealer gets shot evading the cops or getting in an altercation with the cops, then we should have no drug laws then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, let's take it to the extreme then, right? So, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein shouldn't have been arrested because he died. right? I mean, that's a conclusion
Yeah,
that we're supposed to
that's-
draw, right? He died
Consistent
in
logic
police
there, yeah.
custody. It's their fault, and therefore we should have never arrested him. No, we cannot have a society with that kind of logic and those sort of ideals. The ideals that, like, if you violently and disruptively obstruct justice, then you can avoid justice. No.
Mike, if you have any information on this, send it to me. He's saying the Our Siders hate ICE. Now, apparently, it's a branch of the IDF. That's the Israel Defense Force. If you have anyone talking about that, send it to me because I want to see what that idiot is saying. You know what? Like, let's just go off on this. There are no more nutty people than the anti-Israeli people. Like, everything, all roads lead to Israel with these people. Like, anything bad, it's like, oh, it's 110 degrees outside. I now believe in global warming. Thought it was a hoax before. I now believe in it, and it's the IDF that's responsible for the 100.
Well, I mean, it's those Jewish bankers financing productive
go.
human activity.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, I could believe, like, here's what I'm picturing without knowing, because I don't know of any specific incident, but I mean, I can picture one idiotic chuckle fuck out there who would be like, oh, if people are dying, and that's not a good thing. That's not very Christian. It's it. I mean, we do want to push that if people are dying. Whoa.
Who is that? Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing. Someone like a Tucker with millions of followers, it's like, okay, I see what he's doing. But then you get these low-level people, quite frankly, that are barely above us doing it, like that were in the pop culture space before. People that are of Iranian descent from Canada that live in Mexico, people like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
People like Nina Infinity, because we'll name names here.
Sure. Absolutely.
Because, the saying, shit busters talk it, reality gangsters walk it, and we're fucking gangsters on here. I can't stand these grifters that go off on this stuff, and then the people in their chats, oh, yes, I totally agree with you. Yuck, 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 yuck. It's like, no, guys, if you're in my chat, like right now, we're not going to agree on everything, but hey, we can have a respectful conversation about it, and we can look at reality, and we can look at facts. I'm welcome to that. But these people that just have this, the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, you've got like a IDF out there too, like Israeli derangement syndrome. Everything leads back to it. Everything. These people are just nuts. I talked about this 2 weeks ago. Am I saying that everything Netanyahu and Israel does is good? No, I'm not saying that at all. But if you look at that entire region right now, who do you want to ally with? Do you want to ally with Iran? Oh, I can't believe he's doing that. Do you want to ally with Lebanon, that's allowed terrorist forces to operate in their borders? Who do you want to ally with? Oh, those poor Palestinians. It's genocide and all that stuff. Yeah, don't forget the paratrooper footage. How long has it been in October, Greg? 3 years at this point?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so again, let's look at stuff objectively, guys. And let's call out the retards. Yeah, they are SWA223. And again, like, we'll criticize them when we need to. Like, he pissed me off whenever he started attacking Lebanon. And again, just wait until later in the stream to see what I say about Iran during Spaced or Based. But at the end of the day, when there was a ceasefire in place, what does Netanyahu do? He goes and riles stuff up again. It's like, dude, we're trying to do something here. Give it a chance. That pissed me off. But it doesn't mean that all roads, when it comes to all the evil in the world, lead back to Israel. That's why I've leaned so hard into the Magneto is a Jew, because he is, yeah. Magneto rules us from asteroid M etc. It's a meme. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, it's part of this like overly isolationist wing that like I don't know, like it's weird. Like when we talk about like the horseshoe theory, the horseshoe right, horseshoe left, or woke left, woke right, and stuff like that. Like they all have problems with math. And that they think that like a government that spends like $7 trillion a year is be like the reason things suck is because we're spending like $100 billion in foreign aid. Now you can say that like that money's not well spent, but like look, we could eliminate it all, and none of your personal problems, not a single one will get better. And in the long run, several of them will get way, way worse because now you have left global trade in the hands of somebody else other than us.
Yep.
And they're not going to have our best interests at heart. But
yeah, like, Justin's exactly
you're not going to
right
balance
here.
the budget by like not spending $13 billion in Israel. And by the way, most of that money is actually spent just buying munitions from U.S. companies.
Feeding the economy, baby. And Justin's
So
right
I mean,
here.
like, we give them $13 billion, then they take that $13 billion and buy a bunch of, fucking stuff from Boeing. I mean, it may be corrupt, right? And I'm not saying like it's all money well spent, but like be realistic. Like this is not the source of all the world's problems. The paltry amount of money we spend in foreign aid.
Yeah, and Justin's right here. It doesn't mean that if they do something we don't like 5 times out of 10, 50% of the time that, again, you're going to run cover for the goat fuckers, especially Iran. Oh, I didn't realize that there's someone in the back. I don't know if you realized it. From Sydney, Australia, weighing in tonight at 270 pounds even. Here is Liquid Blake.
Somebody ate good this week.
Big lunch all weekend.
Why? What were you last week?
I think you gained about 100 pounds.
I think it was like 140. I went from 420 to like 140 back up to 270. I'm like the Christian Bale of the streaming life. Whatever role you need me to play, I'll just gain the weight for it.
Yeah, we'll space.
We should have somebody in the chat like create a graph for like Blake's weekly weight.
It's like an EKG.
We'll space your fight night participation out at least every 3 weeks, and that'll give you the chance to gain or lose the weight accordingly.
Well, I gotta start bulking up for the Christmas show when I'll be cosplaying as Santa.
All right. Well, I'll be your Kevin.
Happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry your party's so lame. And what a great line. What a great line.
God, what
man.
a great show.
The time when he got pissed off that they took away the Santa rule from him, so he came out as God and was like on that microphone for the karaoke, and he just started talking shit. That was like one of the best sequences ever on the entire show.
I don't know how they filmed a single episode of that show with this, like, and get through without just fucking cracking or breaking character all the time. And they have, don't get me wrong, they did a lot because like their blooper reels are extensive and you can view them on YouTube. And
yeah,
definitely a fun watch.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's what's going on in the media right now. Trump is a tyrant. He's Palpatine. He's Ming the Merciless. Whereas Mamdani is just, hey, he's using the law to do stuff that Trump should be doing. Trump should be arresting Netanyahu, right? Trump should be talking to Iran the right way, the way that Mamdani would do it.
The right way.
And then yeah, exactly. You kind of question the FCC under Trump, like, why are they doing what they're doing? Well, look at what's going on in the media. Look at the bias. Look at the total lack of objectivity that's gone on for almost 100 years after World War II. At this point,
Well, at this point, it would just be another court case because it would, like, if he did that, it would be 5 seconds and a judge would enjoin it.
yeah.
And then it's a long, protracted, like, fucking fight in the courts. And then you get, like, people like Barrett and Roberts who are going to be like, I don't know which way they're going to roll.
Yep, that's the media for you. And then again, you go back to the Obama administration, the first term, right out of the gate. I always bring this up. Eric Holder, the Attorney General at the time, putting out that APB to all law enforcement in the United States. Hey, watch out for right-wing extremism.
Yeah.
We'll talk about something similar, but not so similar later on in Spaced or Based.
Well,
But I
whenever
don't remember
hear
the media criticizing that other than like Fox News and right-wing radio talking about it. But I don't remember the mainstream media criticizing that we just go after people, just people, not specific hate groups or anything. It was just in general, watch out for the rise of right-wing extremism.
And
I need to find that document.
The really irritating thing is just it's so gaslighting because it's like we were alive 5 years ago. Like, we remember that the government was specifically coordinating with social media platforms to ban people, including the president of the United States.
Yep.
They're like, what are you talking about? Like, free speech and his being a tyrant. Are you kidding me? And then let's look at all the other nations around the world that are left leaning, and let's look at what they're doing with speech laws.
Yep.
Like,
and online censorship.
Yeah. Do you have freedom of speech in Great Britain? Nah. Canada? Nah. Australia? Nah.
Well, one of our longtime members, Timon, can't even watch on Rumble because guess what? Rumble doesn't exist in Brazil. It doesn't exist there because the current administration doesn't want the truth getting out.
Yeah, where is all the state, like, which way do all the governments that have state-run media lean? Is there a country in the entire world that is right-wing that has state-run media like the left does? Even close to it?
Well, some idiots would tell you that Russia is right-wing, right?
Yeah, sure.
There are idiots out there that would say that.
Fastest growing religion in Russia. Have a guess.
What is it?
Muslim.
Well, look at all those former SSRs that end in STAN, right? They're stands for Islam. They're stands. That's where the name came from.
That's what Eminem was trying to warn us about.
Yeah, I'm going to be the opposite of Steve Rogers and say I don't understand that reference.
Eminem, Stan. That song.
You don't remember that song, Stan?
I immediately turn off all rap music.
The duet with Dido.
It's just it's music for people who couldn't spell the word crap correctly.
Well, they couldn't spell Eminem's right. They had to sound it out.
Yeah, that's true. You have to phonetically do it.
Are you really implementing new Islamophobia guidelines? Is that correct?
Wait until Spaced or Based.
Yeah, wait.
And I gave you a political. Yeah, I gave you a cartoon for the. It's a video. It's in the Twitter one.
Is it Lazy Bow or Lazy B? Okay.
Yep. It's both. It's for the space based, but it's also the video. You can use that for the political cartoon memes.
Yeah, we've been like saying a lot of depressing stuff, so let's go ahead and get into some funny stuff to kind of lighten the mood a little bit. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
All right. So we've got some submissions. I think Gabriel Knight sent this one in. Let me put my overlay on here. It is an X post. Let's see. All right.
I like this one.
How to stop Iran. Sexy goat, atomic bomb, and then there's the trigger. Yeah, as soon as you enter, then you get an explosion of a different kind. It's not a 2-minute brother, you're a 2-second brother on this one.
You reach the summit quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Most Iranians probably couldn't even reach the trigger.
Yeah, we'll have to make a modification for that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need to send many out there either. I mean, if it's got an atomic bomb in there.
Just like touching the tail, lifting the tail up should trigger
it. Great demonstration there. Fantastic. All right, let's see.
I wonder how they got it in there.
Could you guys hear that, by the way, when I hit play?
No, I didn't hear anything.
I didn't hear it. I just thought it was a silent animation.
Okay. Hang on. Let's do the tab instead. All right. Here we go. Albo has released the new Islamophobia report. Indian ISIS Islamic terrorists shot 50 people, killing 15. So Labor imported ISIS terrorist brides and brought in laws so you can't offend Muslims. Yep, Australia is cooked. Labor does not care about Australians. Video from Amplay Flude. All right.
Today, we're releasing our response to the Islamophobia Envoy's report to our government.
I will say whatever I have to get the votes of the Muslim community. Islamophobia always was and always will be the greatest and only threat to Australia. It is the cause of global warming and has increased the cost of living, which had nothing to do with my poor leadership. And that's the full report, Australia. Magoo out.
So here's the question. Here's the question for you, Blake. Was that AI?
That was real.
Hard to tell.
Yeah, that was real.
That was a hot mic moment, you know?
It was so close to the actual speech, it's hard to tell these days. But yeah, he's announced something like, it's 66 million to 150 million overall to Muslim communities and to set up anti-Islamophobia squads and to implement anti-Islamophobia fucking educational courses for starting at kindergarten. That's what the taxpayers' money's going for. And he's also like the third high. He's like one of the fourth highest paid politicians or world leaders on the globe.
Yeah, let's save the commentary on that for later. But yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good use of AI, proper use of AI.
That wasn't AI. That was undetermined. If it's AI or
undetermined, not. Yeah, there you go. So this was sent in, these next three by Gabriel Knight. Oh, Canada. And it's Smokey the Bear with his Enviro suit on. That's pretty good. And Greg can attest to that.
Greg's got it. It should be like the next one should just be like a hunter looking like Greg. The barrel pointed at it.
Yeah. Democratic National Committee sign, your vote, our choice. We can't say that.
That's what it feels like.
That's election misinformation. And then you've got Biden to release memoir after November, midterms, meet the author, and it's the good old auto pen. Promise me America. Joe Biden. That's pretty good.
Blank pages.
Wonder what it will write on that chapter right there.
That's the title of the book. My butt's been wiped.
Yeah, that's a great
It's
title.
gonna be 31 pages, like one for every like ice cream at Baskin Robbins.
Mint chocolate chip
of his piece of shit son's finger paintings.
Let me see if I have anything else here. Okay, we got that one.
Not gonna share mine.
Are you talking about the one with the huts?
Could be one, yeah.
Yeah, we'll show that one, and then if you have another one, you can do that one. All right, so here we have something Greg sent in, and I think he's going to also follow up on this later. Africa before 2.6 trillion in U.S. aid. Africa after 2.6 trillion in U.S. aid.
That's
you need Pam. You need Pam there holding the photos.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Where do you find this one? This is Nicolas. And how long did it take for us to get to 2.6 trillion?
I don't even know. I didn't do any research as far as the actual.
Probably since the 60s, I'd say 70s. I bet you all that foreign aid really ramped up, ratcheted up.
I think
since
a lot
the
of
songs
it ramped up in the 80s, the U.S. aid for Africa. Then you had U2, and then George Bush tried to buy, goodwill and be like, oh, look, I'm a nice guy. We're gonna send all this aid to Africa, and it's like, oh, good, so they can make more babies that can't perform any useful function to the world.
Yeah.
Oh, good, more people to produce nothing and just consume. Where was that other one that I had?
Trigger through the anus.
I could do the popcorn bucket one. That would be funny.
African leaders were happy it got disbanded.
Everything gets a popcorn bucket now.
You find it?
No, I can't find it. I don't know where I had it.
Save it for next week then.
Sure.
It'll be good. But yeah, guys, send these all throughout the week, preferably on XDM, memes, political cartoons, videos, whatever. We found some pretty fucking hilarious ones. All right. Let's see. I think it's that time, isn't it, guys? We've done Freedom Funnies. Yeah, I think it's time for Spaced or Based. All right, here we go.
Yardarm. Does the Navy still hang people from yardarms?
No way. The penalty is spacing. Based on truth, Captain.
You've earned it.
All right. In the sample size of the past 5 months, Trump not understanding that ceasefires with Iran are nothing but chudnas, biding their time and regrouping, an inherently Islamic tactic and one employed by Palestine for decades. There will be no deal with fanatics and a society unwilling to rise up against their own tyrannical government. Until Trump learns this, he is spaced on this matter. Marco Rubio made some remarks with examples of communist violence on the innocent. These offenders justify their actions and are supported by like-minded individuals, by their deep desire for revenge on those whom they envy. For bringing attention to these acts and for calling on leaders to stop it, Marco is based. Riding a bike in a wheelie and acting as if you're going to hit someone only to pull away at the last second? You are a worthless blight on society and need to be spaced. Canadians running cover for their own country's failure to prevent wildfires on a mammoth scale by posting images of the size of the immense forest are pathetic. In doing so, they ignore decades of proper management of that ecosystem. These maple leaf maggots are spaced. That's what's on my list for the week, guys, and we are going to get into a video on one of those spacings in a minute here. Can you guys guess which one it is? Can you guys guess which one it is?
No.
All right, let's get into it then. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Greg, you're going to love this. Right, here we go.
I drink till I'm drunk, smoke till I'm high, castle on the hill, wake up in the sky, you can't tell me I'm fly. I know I'm super fly, I know I'm super fly, the ladies love luxury, that's why they all fuck with me.
What do you think?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. For some reason, it's not allowing me to mute or change my mic. It's weird. What do I think? I think he should be charged for assault for everybody that he approached with his bike. Or not, because that is assault. I mean, battery
Menacing.
would be if he hit them, but he did assault them. He should be charged for every one of them. And I think, because I am so fucking over YouTube prankster shit, that I think there should be a 1,000x penalty for any crime committed while being filmed by an associate or by yourself. So if you're staging a video, like if you're doing this and you're filming it, it should be assault for however many people he did that to, with a 1,000x penalty, mandatory, no probation, no bail. I am tired of these internet fucks harassing and irritating people in public for clicks. They must be destroyed. That's what I think about it. Hope he dies.
Well, the guy who quoted this, Retard Finder, was the account that put it out there.
Great
Some
follow,
other,
by the way.
Yeah, great. Some other guy quoted it saying, "This is really bad," and blah, blah, blah. Well, I think that this would be too harsh. I replied, I don't know if you guys saw it, but I'm like, I don't think death would be too harsh. And I got a bunch of likes. Like, that was my reply.
Well, some of them that do it,
I
they
think
swerve
full
in traffic
immunity
and
should
shit.
be to anybody who does anything up to and including terminating his life.
Yeah, like when they do it and they're swerving in traffic and that, like, they're taking the life into their own hands. Like if a car accidentally swerves because it thinks they're coming at them, and they get killed. 100% every single time it's their fault.
To his skull should get immunity from taxes for the rest of his
You
life.
need to just jam something in the spokes as he's going past and watch them do like a front flip.
No.
Somebody
Full
said
baseball
that
crack
in the replies.
right in the fucking
somebody
jaw.
said that. Here's the thing. Someone like Guardian Angels in New York, back in the 80s, they should have people in masks on regular routes where these assholes do this, and just like shoulder tackle them. You have the mask on. The camera doesn't know who you are. Just injure these worthless pieces of shit, then run off. And
steal the bike.
Yeah. Steal the bike. Before too long, they'll stop doing it. Because a masked hero may shoulder tackle.
We need a hero.
Right into the wall of a building.
Hey,
Right onto the damn sidewalk.
Show the video.
Fucking schools open.
Show the video again. It can just be a still shot.
Okay, hang on. Let me maximize it. Oh, I got it paused right when the Karen is about to get hit here. Okay.
Oh yeah, the bike is stolen.
Why?
I had to make sure it wasn't a white kid.
You can't racially profile. Got to make sure first.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Oh, man. Woo! All right, over on the Rumble side, King Chris has gifted a subscription to the channel. Thank you very much, King Chris. That always helps us keep the lights on and makes things worthwhile. Let's see what, I thought I'd uploaded more stuff, but I guess I didn't. Here's a message for communists.
You've never been out of college. You don't know what it's like out there. I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Very good. Yeah, expecting results and shit. All right. Blake, did you have anyone you wanted to space? Was it Albo? Is that who?
Every
you were
week, every single week. It's gonna be him every single week until he's gone, and then even after he's gone, probably still. But yeah, there's a double Albo spaced immediately for these new Islamophobia laws that are coming in. But then,
well, let me ask you a question before you move on. Here's my question, and I'm not going to pretend that I know anything about the specifics of Australian politics, but how long is his term?
Well, the election wasn't too long. I mean, in terms of elections, it wasn't too long ago. It was like 1.5, 2 years ago. So he's going to be probably coming up in the next year and a bit for another election. So
is it 4 years? Is that the term?
No, it's no. Well, it's no. So it's every they can call an election whenever they want. But
Holy
it's general. Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's a leadership spill or if there's stuff like that, they can just call a general election within a few months. But the federal election, it's usually like every 4 years or so. But it doesn't mean he's going to be gone, and it also doesn't mean anything would change necessarily.
Got it. Okay.
But the other one, Jacinta Allen, the new premier of Victoria, the state down south to me, they're trying to introduce new laws for online social media companies to be able to identify people, just behind their usernames and stuff, based on similar these Islamophobia laws, but then anti hate speech laws, racism. I think I had it here, the list. So yeah, race, religion, sexual orientation, or other protected traits. whatever
What the
that
fuck is wrong
generalization
with
means.
Victoria?
Yeah, Victoria's a fucking. It seems like it's just this weird testing ground where they fucking will try everything and everything to submit or control the citizens to the point where you have absolutely no say in anything in your life. You are just pushed and prodded until you fucking break. But so that's that state. But it's, it wouldn't be surprising if it spreads throughout the rest of the country. They try and implement this shit because they always do. One state starts it, and then the others feel the need to follow along. But there are two candidates for space this week: Anthony Albanese, Jacinta Allen.
You guys need to start acting like the Irish at this point.
It would be a good idea.
I mean, before it's too late.
Yeah, the election's coming up, in terms of elections, not too long in the future. And polling support for the current government has fallen significantly. But the problem is people are split on the opposition. So the usual opposition, which was Liberals, that opposed the Labor, that are the opposition to the Labor, and were in power not too long ago, and sort of pulled a lot of the same shit that Labor is doing now, were our our counterpoint or our counterpart of the right of what America has, and the people there have no faith in any sort of leadership. Like, they've gone through a few leaders in the last few years. No one can really hold that opposition top job to challenge Albanese. A lot of the support has gone down to the lower parties, like the one that was sort of considered a joke for a long time, One Nation, led by Pauline Hanson, the redhead. You might, if you've seen any sort of things on Australian politics or Twitter, she's
Daniel sent me some stuff. Yeah,
she's the redhead who, for a long time, especially the media, considered her just a joke candidate. She's never going to do anything, but she's got the most support.
Kind of like
out
they
of
did
any.
with Trump. Yeah,
it's very similar, but she's been around a lot longer. Like, she's not a career politician because she didn't start as a politician, but she came into it very much as an outsider to politics. But she's just been there for so long that she's become a politician herself, and almost all the support's gone to her from people considered the right wing. And, that's where the split is, because they're fractured. The right's more fractured than the left is, because the left's just happy to keep Albanese in power. But the right really can't decide between One Nation and the Liberals, to the point where if they don't really consolidate, it's very possible you just see more of Albanese and Labor. And then if they win the next election, the opposition would be pretty hard done by to come back and sort of reform, with the especially the way the Liberal Party has fallen.
Got it. Yeah, so FYI, guys, we're going to remake a graphic for actually spacing the people. So I got to get that going in the next couple of weeks. We got to get a new one. But
got to make it official when they go out the airlock.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much for your contribution, Blake. And people have asked for it. They've demanded it, so they're going to get it. And Greg's going to give his input. So let's go ahead and hit that intro.
Release the Kraken!
He cannot be reasoned with or bargained with.
What a great intro. Thank you, Tim. Oh, I'm solo on the screen. Okay. All right. Well, I am going to actually not do an Africa rant today, because what I want to do is I want to have a little bit more time to prepare some stats to back up some of my information. But I do have another topic, and I'm going to get into here as a procurator of justice here. I want to motivate people to push Hollywood to practice more of what they preach. And so here, the basis of this, I'm going to share a couple tabs here, Tim. If I can find them, I have too many tabs open. We'll start with this one. The impetus of the rant today. I can't tell if it's sharing or not. All right, so the tweet's on the screen. It doesn't show for me. All right, so this is Mark Ruffalo. Hello, Elon Musk. This is how you're perceived. This is basically Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Hulk, demanding that Elon's the bad guy, and he does this other stuff too because he's rich and it's like, look at all this money that you could be sharing and how much everybody's lives would be better. And I was thinking about this, and it reminded me of an interview on another kind of like Weasley person's broadcast, but it was an interview with Ben Affleck. And in that interview, Ben Affleck mentioned something to the effect of like there's 130,000 members of SAG-AFTRA, which is their trade union that negotiates and sets the terms for the compensation packages for actors and performers and voice actors and other such things. And he mentioned something very funny or something interesting, and that he mentioned, and let me see if I can pull this up now without changing. Can you see the interview?
I just didn't have the confidence. And at a certain point, I kind of had nothing to lose. And that was really what kind of gave me the courage to take that leap.
In the directing, you mean?
Yeah, because
Okay.
as an actor, I got real cold and like had a couple of movies that didn't work. And then, all of a sudden it can be kind of over for you. That's why it's a tough business. Fuck yeah, man. Like there's no seniority, there's no tenure, there's no retirement, there's no gold watch. If your show doesn't work or your movie doesn't work and nobody wants to hire you, like they're just gonna hire someone else. Yeah. There's 130,000 people in SAG and there's only 30,000 people that work every year, right? And
30,000 that work, and he's about to say that, and only a few of a fraction of those even get speaking lines, which is where you make any money if you're an actor. Like if you don't get a speaking line in something, you can't even get into SAG. Like that's a requirement that you have to have a speaking role in something first to even get to be a member of SAG. So here's what I want. And you can do some of the math and be like, let's start practicing democratic socialism the way they want to practice it. And let's do it this way. Going forward, in order to air any of your TV programs or movies in the United States, every actor's salary should be divided equally amongst all SAG-AFTRA members, regardless of whether they're working or not and what talent level they are. So whether they're working doesn't matter. What talent level they have doesn't matter. How much they draw doesn't matter. Doesn't matter anything. It just all gets divided up equally. Because it's really interesting that you have these people that are on the top that make these $1 million salaries for their movies. Somebody like Mark Ruffalo, who's made like $35 million making movies. How much has he given that to his SAG buddies? All those other 75% that don't even get any work in a calendar year. It seems to me that if they practiced and believed anything that they say they believe in, they ought to pay their fair share. So you do something like, okay, like the Friends, the Friends were making in their last season something like $1 million an episode. So $6 million an episode was devoted just to the core 6 members. That's not anything going towards any of the extras or any of the recurring guests and everything like that. It doesn't pay Paul Rudd for his role. It's just the main actors. So you take that $6 million an episode and divide that amongst, 130,000 SAG members, right? And that's what they should get paid. And I think that we need to as a group, as a society, Start demanding that the people like athletes and actors and directors and everybody who seem to be very, very keen on this whole idea of redistributing the wealth, right? And paying their fair share. How about we start with their industries? And in addition to that, how about we stop the practice of them taking back-end deals, becoming executive producers and investors in the movie. And I use scare quotes with investors because they're just investors on paper. They're not actually putting money into it. They're just getting ownership shares for their participation in lieu of a smaller upfront acting fee. Then they're taking these productions and running them out of country. So you're this poor, starving SAG-AFTRA member living in one of the most expensive cities in the entire country, Los Angeles. You're living somewhere in the Los Angeles area. You're scrounging. You are just stretched to the limit, trying to get the role, trying to get your foot in the door, trying to make a buck. And these rich assholes, with their multi-million-dollar contracts and their production companies and everything, are running north to Vancouver or running to Australia or running to, in a lot of cases, Great Britain, or even running to Georgia, right, where they get tax credits there. They're running their little productions overseas. And so what are the odds as a poor, starving, unworking SAG-AFTRA member? Are you going to get a walk-on role or a small bit role in one of these film productions that are filmed in Vancouver or halfway across the world? The answer is none. It's going to go to one of their locals. So they're pocketing the extra money because they're getting paid on the back end. They're getting paid on the royalties. They're getting paid on the box office gross. So all that extra money that they're saving with getting these tax credits, it's not going to the working man. It's not going to the lowly, poor, starving artist that's out there doing OnlyFans because they can't pay their rent. It's going out there. And speaking of OnlyFans, let's expand it to there too. I think that the most fugly, fat fucking bitch with disgusting tattoos and piercings and just the most like natural, unkempt bottom that you could imagine with a massive yeast infection. I think she should make as much money as the top person in tips because that would be fair and that would be equitable. And I think one of the things that we as conservatives or Republicans or MAGA and everything is like, you know what? We're going to start making these industries practice what they preach. We're going to start making them pay. Or you don't get to, or we're going to put tariffs on importing your productions back into the United States for exhibition. Or we're just going to ban their importation entirely, which is actually legal. You know, in that Supreme Court case where they ruled against Trump's tariffs, one thing they did say in their opinions was they could ban the importation of some stuff entirely and categorically, but they just can't. He can't arbitrarily tariff it. Well, okay.
Well, hang on. Let me chime in there for a minute, and I just want to clarify that the challenge that SCOTUS ruled in favor of was for IEPA, not Section 301 or anything. So,
correct.
Section 301 investigations could be opened into that industry, and the administration could say our findings necessitate tariffs. They're in place, another 18 months of court challenges, and more than likely, the way that Section 301 laws are written, the administration would be successful. Okay.
Yes, and that would be good. I just want, you know what? Let's experiment with democratic socialism. Let's do it. Let's pick a couple industries, some very, very wealthy industries, right? There's very few industries that are as wealthy as Hollywood. Let's do that. And hell, let's expand it to recording artists. It shouldn't matter that you have no talent as a songwriter or a singer and you can't play any instruments. You are entitled to some of Taylor Swift's money. Because that's fair. And that's the kind of thing that she would vote for. That's the kind of thing that she would want or she says she wants. Let's start practicing what we preach. Let's start punishing some of the industries that do nothing but hurt our political positions and then mock us for being like, the flyover country of rubes and the uncultured swine that we are. Well, okay. You guys are they're big fans of exercising political power and strength in numbers. Well, let's do it. Let's start taxing the fuck out of them. Let's force them to redistribute their wealth. No actor should make any more money than any other actor, regardless of talent, skill, or work, or effort. Equal. Equity. That's what they want. That should be a rule for the Academy Awards. Like, you can't get an Academy Award if any actor makes any more money than any other actor. That too. I mean, you wouldn't need them because everybody's just going to get divided amongst the same amount. So let's just take the gross revenue of Hollywood, cut a percentage of it that automatically goes to all of the actors in the union, and it gets evenly divided. Let's see what happens to the industry. That should be our big experiment.
I got a
that would
couple
be
of questions
justice.
for you. Maybe one question for you. Will it hurt Hollywood?
Would it hurt Hollywood to do this?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would it hurt
Destroy it.
members? Yeah, then I'm all for it. No further questions, Your Honor. I'll just say that.
Well, we know it would absolutely destroy it, right? Because now, like, guess who? Everybody and their brother is going to want to become a SAG member, right?
Yeah.
Just to get the automatic distribution. And who's going to bother going? Like, if you're going to get the same amount of money regardless, like, why bother going to auditions at all?
Well,
once you get your one speaking role, just let them set some sort of minimum and like, oh, you got to audition like 5 times in order to maintain your membership or whatever. But really, they don't believe in borders and gatekeeping, so I don't think they should be able to set those standards either.
Yeah, well,
so literally, anybody who just identifies as an actor should get a cut.
Yeah, well, it's a union, so you should be getting paid for doing nothing. That's what a union is.
I mean, that's apparently that's what a lot of the unions do. It's really interesting. Like, they just had all these negotiations, and then you get an actor that's just out there and like, oh yeah, like only 25% of us get any work at all, and of them, like only a fraction actually make any decent money. The rest of them get like a couple lines, and they're the guy in the ER walking with the gurney that says, like, yes, doctor, when the doctor says, give me 10 cc's of this, that's a speaking role. If the guy says like, yes, doctor, or something like that, and that's his big payday, which is probably like fucking a couple $1,000.
Yeah, that's your WrestleMania paycheck if you're like in the Battle Royal where they just throw a bunch of guys in there that don't have real matches. I'm going to disagree with Small Time here. Thanks for being here, Small Time, by the way. Showing up every Sunday night on the YouTube side. I don't think that is good socialism, like voluntarily giving your money away, because socialism and communism are coercive redistribution. What you're talking about is charity there, and you're correct. You can choose to give away your earnings, but that's not socialism. Socialism means they steal your money and they give it to someone else. So just a little bit of a distinction there.
Charity should never be ever. Any charity that is unconditional is immoral.
And that's why Christ was not a socialist. I hate hearing that from left-wing assholes. Christ was a socialist. No, he wasn't. Are you saying
have
that
to be a good, upstanding?
Are you saying
member
that
of
he would have
society.
stolen your money and given it to someone else? No, you have the chance to do what you want to do with your wealth. Coercion is not charity. That's the point Greg is trying to make. You're welcome for me speaking for you.
Well, it's not just coercion.
It's tax.
It should always be conditional upon the behavior. Like, so you get a guy that's like a drunken bum, right? Handing him a pile of money is immoral, because what's he going to do with the money?
Yeah.
He's going to continue to behave in the same manner that had gotten him. Like, you didn't help him.
Well, yeah,
You
apply
enabled
that.
him.
Apply the drunken bum to the
Africa.
or the kid sitting in his parents' basement playing video games with 30 empty Mountain Dew cans and Dorito bags everywhere. Same exact thing. right?
Yes,
So
it should condition this idea that like love and charity should be unconditional, ridiculous. And like I said, it's actually immoral. You're enabling their destructive behavior. Not just destructive to yourself, your neighbors, and your society and the civilization you live in, but to themselves as well. And to do that, to participate in that, is immoral. It's wrong.
yeah, good point. Good point, Mike.
Dude, I don't drink regular Mountain Dews, but I can drink 3 2-liter bottles a day without even blinking.
I don't drink
liters.
Really any soda.
Yes, liters.
I drink
You like
coffee, water,
They sell soda by
and
liters.
beer.
Use the real metrics.
I hate coffee. I don't hate beer, but I just don't drink it unless I'm like out and about. I never have a beer when I get home from work or anything.
How do you hate coffee? Like
it's water run through a Colombian's diarrhea.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Fun
No, it
fact.
Tastes like shit.
I've never drunk a cup of coffee in my life.
Oh, it's gross.
I love the fact that you used the past participle correctly. That's awesome.
Drunk.
Where I live, a bunch of people would say, I haven't drank. I haven't drank. It's like, I haven't drunk. That is the correct form. Anyway.
Before we move on, I just wanted to sort of like what the theme of the of what Greg was just the procurator of justice was just informing us about, using like the other side's tactics against them. And you brought up that lawsuit or the idea that Trump had of outside productions having a tariff of when they're released back into America. And, you know, they're saying that you can't have a tariff, but you can flat out ban them. That would be a better outcome to actually cripple them and stop what they're doing, because Hollywood would not survive on movies being released without a domestic marketplace. Like just surviving on the worldwide the global box office alone would not for going into it. Like if they had established budgets and they didn't account for the fact that they weren't releasing in the domestic marketplace of America, Hollywood would not survive more than a year or two on just the global box office with no domestic input whatsoever. And that's when you would really cripple the actors and the Hollywood industry, because that's when they would say, well, like, we have to abide by these rules or we are literally dead in the water.
It really riles me, the idea that like we're okay with another country just coming in and bribing our industries to leave.
Unless it's necessary, like you need an island, you need like, you know,
right?
You've
like
got islands in America.
Legitimately, like, hey, my story's set in Rome. I have to go film for like 10 days in Rome. Like, yeah, of course.
But even then, you can trick
Star
it.
Wars filming in Tanzania or whatever
because it has to look like an alien planet.
Yeah.
It's like Pitch Black, the Vin Diesel movie. They came to Australia to shoot out, like in Cooperpedy, out like near where Daniel lives in South Australia, because it's just nothing in so many directions. It looks like a, you know, like kind of Mars, like a foreign planet. Like you have to go some places to get an effect, but 99.
What I'm talking about is like they're going to Vancouver to shoot on sound stages.
To shoot New York as well. Like they're going to Vancouver to shoot a show that's set in New York. And it's like, well, you really just, you're outside cheating to save costs, and you're cheating the actual industry itself then.
Yeah, and your own people in the industry. That's what really...
Yes.
It's not just that we as Americans would be like, you know, one of our chief exports culturally is our movies and our TVs. To allow other countries to just be like bribe our industries to leave, I find that aggravating. But from an insider, if you're inside the industry or you're not on the elite level, like a Ben Affleck, like a Mark Ruffalo, and you're the struggling actor, be like, well, I got to keep driving to Vancouver to audition for shit because that's where it's all filming. Like Vancouver is not just a couple minute drive from LA. It's it's a good long jog or an expensive plane flight just to get a role that you're not like. It's not even to cover your cost of traveling, and the studio ain't gonna cover it. They're gonna be like, why should we pay you? Like I can get any jobber that's in Vancouver to do this two lines.
Yeah, they're not paying traveling and housing costs
Not for your
SAG actors to bring them up from LA for small, 1-day roles. They're definitely using local talent for all that stuff.
And the same for when they're shooting in Great Britain as well,
and the crew,
Atlanta for that matter,
the crews as well.
Yeah. So yes. So like it affects the other unions because they're under the other unions rules, but specifically for SAG-AFTRA, like it you're hurting your own members by taking your productions over there, and it's not this idea that it's the evil corporate film studios that's just pocketing all this money. No, in a lot of cases it's not. It's these actors that are on the top lines, top billing, the ones who are going and doing 30,000 plate, fundraisers for left-leaning politicians that are espousing leftist democratic socialist ideals. Those are the ones that they're getting money because they're getting equity. They're getting, and I don't mean equity in the sense of like what they mean equity, but equity is in like a share of the production,
back end points
in exchange for signing on to it.
Yeah.
So they're
that's
allowed
why
to be an investor with 10% of the company, but they never had to contribute any dollars. They contributed their talent.
That's why, like Marvel and Disney under Disney signed those actors in the MCU to those 6, 7, 8, 9 picture deals because they knew that if these hit like you see now, the actors are going to have all the bargaining power, like you see with Robert Downey Jr., like $40 million a picture for these new ones. It's once the actors realize that once the agents start negotiating for the actors, that's when the costs skyrocket because the actors just say, well, I'm everything. And really, a lot of the times you've seen in a lot of these things, they can be replaced. And sometimes people don't even notice.
They're really like, when it comes down to it, like one of the fundamental differences between somebody who's on the left and somebody who's on the right is somebody on the right ascends the ladder and they shout down to the people underneath, come on up. It's great here. The people on the left climb up the ladder and then immediately pull the ladder up.
Kick it away.
They kick it away or they pull it up with them.
Or they take the pie and they pull it away, whereas the other people bake a bigger pie because the size of the pie is not fixed.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, we got to wrap it up here. We've been going 2 hours, 14 minutes in this abbreviated stream. We'll be back next Sunday night. We had a great night. Thanks to everyone for the donations, helping us keep the lights on. Thanks to the new viewers. Again, make sure you're following. Make sure you're sharing the link out there. We had Dalu8738 in the chat for most of the stream. Thanks for being here. Just every Sunday night, guys. Thanks for showing up. But yeah, we'll be back Sunday night. And at some point, we'll try to get back to those midweek streams. But I think it'll be like in the fall. I don't think it's going to happen in the summer. Too much to do at night during the week. Abridged just the way Star Wars normie likes it. Yeah, abridged and voice, what do you call them? Audiobooks and no reading necessary. What was that line from Chevy Chase as Gerald Ford? I was told there would be no math involved. Kind of with theory, I was told there would be no reading involved.
Well, it's not, all you have to do is it's just one movie and one book, The Phantom Menace. It's not like it's hard or anything.
By the way, I've been thinking about taking that stupid book by SJW, Stephen J. Walton, and doing like a real history of the
I thought you were going to say you were going to do an audio book reading of it.
No, I'll do that too. I'll read.
You know how
the book.
hard that would be, because your brain would.
You'd want to laugh.
Well, and your brain would try to correct a lot of it as you're reading it, because you see somebody write something and then you read it and it's fine in your head. Like you don't notice how poorly structured it is, but then you start reading it out loud. You're like, holy shit! Like I have to concentrate to read this word for word because my mind is automatically.
Well, do you remember when I went over some choice excerpts from that book about a year and a half ago?
I remember you doing it.
There are so many typos, so many grammatical errors. It's embarrassing. Like I never would have released that shit.
You needed Mike Partika.
Well, and you could do this like if you've done videos on YouTube, right? You write if you do the kind of videos where you're going to write a script for it or even an outline. You write something and then you go to record it and you're like, I can't say it like that. That's just not natural.
Yeah, it's like what Harrison Ford and all of them actually said about George Lucas's scripts.
Like
you can write this stuff.
I understand the words. I'm not stupid. Like I understand what you're saying, but like to verbalize it just is really hard work because it's just gobbledygook. It's structured like nobody talks like this.
Yeah. Well,
instead of a book, Tim, you got to do Dark Side of the Ring style mini documentaries about all the things that happened.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm thinking about doing it. Maybe that's the way we can contribute to that, culture space. Thanks for being here, Nixie Nix.
Could do like
all right,
where
guys.
are they now thing where like they're people that have disappeared, but then we could have like SJWs
like Stephen J. Walt.
We rise together, and then like disappear.
We disappear together. Yeah, there's so many names. Yeah, I'm doing it. On all my spare time, I'm going to do it. All right, we're going to leave you with this this leaked intel we got from the 1950s, proof that the Rosenbergs were traitors to the United States. We'll see you guys next week.
What address did you go to?
It's the one right in the city there. I don't quite remember.
Well, there's a lot in the city, and sometimes people get confused. I don't have a record card on you. How long ago did you buy it here?
About 4 days, and my eyes is going crazy.
And Mr. Rosenberg, I don't believe you bought it at this office because I'm the only one here. I don't wear glasses, and if it was 4 days ago, I would have remembered you. And I don't, and I don't have a record card on you. Did you go to the Empire State Building?
I went to the Empire State Building, and I can't see so good.
So you went to see Dr.
Yeah, but he's an asshole. I couldn't see so good from the Empire State Building.
Well, would you like to make an appointment to come in and see us?
I went to the observatory, but because of these glasses, I can't see.
Okay, would you like to come in and see us?
Sure.
Okay. We're at 30 East 60th Street.
35 78th Street. Okay.
No. We're at 30.
Okay.
East 60th Street.
All right. Should I bring all my glasses with me?
You need an examination.
And all my glasses?
Mr. Rosenberg, do you need an examination?
Okay.
Do you need an examination?
All right.
Yeah, all right. You need an appointment.
Right. And I'll bring all my shoes and my glasses with me.